Hello and welcome to a special broadcast on the electoral bonds case. I'm Ashmit Kumar and with me is Parikshit Luthra. Now, the Election Commission published the electoral bond data furnished by the State Bank of India late last night. The data shows that bonds worth 12,156 crores were purchased under the scheme between April of 2019 and January of 2024. The big takeaway, the top 5 donors account for 28% of all electoral bonds purchased. The number 1 donor is a lesser-known entity, Coimbatore-based Future Gaming and Services. This company purchased electoral bonds worth 1,368 crores. Hyderabad-based infrastructure firm Megha Engineering and Infrastructure, which purchased bonds worth nearly 1,000 crore rupees, comes a close second. Large corporates like Anil Agarwal-led Vedanta, Sunil Bharti Mittal's Bharti Airtel and Birla Group promoted SL Mining are also among the top contributors. But those are the corporates. How does the encashment look like, Parikshit? Give us a sense.
Well, one thing that really comes across when we study the data is that election spending has significantly gone up since the last Lok Sabha election. And we've definitely seen that when we see the bond redemption numbers for October, November 2023, when the 5 state elections were taking place, and a lot of political parties have withdrawn funds in the month of January and February as well. Now, let's get you some analysis. 22,217 bonds were purchased and approximately 22,000 have been redeemed. Close to 50% of the 12,769 crores of bonds have been redeemed by the BJP. The BJP, in fact, redeemed bonds worth 6,061 crores between April 2019 and January 2024. So we're looking at almost a 5-year period. And between April and May 2019, 1,700 crores were redeemed. So this was before and just during the Lok Sabha elections. And this year, in January 2024, they have taken out 202 crore so far. This is what we know at the moment as per the data. If you look at the Trinamool Congress, the Trinamool Congress is the second party in terms of redemption of bonds. They have redeemed bonds worth 1,610 crore rupees between April 2019 and January 2024. Even for this party, the redemption of bonds spiked during the 5 state assembly election last year. Then look at the Congress party. They have redeemed bond worth 1,421 crores in the last 5 years. In October 2023, that is just 1 month ahead of the 5 state election, they withdrew 400 crores and 35 crores has been redeemed in January 2024. The Congress, as we have pointed out, is number 3 on that list. The Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti, which was TRS earlier, they have redeemed bonds worth 1,215 crores. The Biju Janata Dal, the ruling party in Odisha, they have redeemed bonds worth 776 crore rupees.
Right, Parikshit, thanks a lot for that. Let's take it forward now. Akshay Raut, former Director General of the Election Commission, joins us. We're also joined by Major General Anil Verma, Head of Association for Democratic Reforms and the lead petitioner in the electoral bonds case, and Sanjay Ghosh, Senior Advocate. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, for being a part of this. Major General, let me come to you, the lead petitioner in this case. You had expressed some fears on the date of the judgment that these are in the nature of bearer bonds. Have those fears been vanquished by way of the data that emerged? A lot of key details emerging in terms of companies that contributed, how much they were contributing, and also interesting data points on in and around whether this contribution was located in and around any CBI ED raids. Any clarity on the way forward?
See, yeah, we definitely welcome the transparency and the right to know of the people as per the judgment which has emerged. But the fact is that it is not still fully 100% transparent because the linking is still not possible between the donors and the political party which got those electoral bonds. So now people are working at it. There are a lot of researchers and investigative journalists and etc. who will maybe come out with a lot of interesting facts. And some have already come out, like there are some loss-making companies which have been donating, and there were some contracts awarded to some other companies. And a lot of these companies have been raided by the CBI and the ED and all that. whether it was before the payment of the donation via the electoral bonds or after that. So all these things will be investigated and things will come out. But as some people are saying that now today the Supreme Court has directed the SBI to give the unique numbers to be disclosed, and they have directed the SBI. Even after that comes out, as per Mr. Garg, I was just there on another channel with him. He says even then people will not be able to join the dots. So let's see how it plays out. But I just want to correct the figures which you just gave out, which Mr. Parikshit gave out. Firstly, in these data which has been released as of now, it is from the 9th to the 30th phase, and total of 20,421 electoral bonds have been purchased worth rupees 12,769 crores. Okay. And in the top 10 donors, it is 4,770 electoral bonds worth rupees 4,551.57 crores, which is 37.44% of the entire amount of donations. Out of this, the corporates have donated 96.80%. That is amount worth rupees 11,776. And individuals have donated rupees 389 crores only, which is 3.2% of the total donations.
All right. Thank you for pointing that out. And we must also praise the Association of Democratic Reforms for extensively studying the data and putting it out on their website for citizens to view. Mr. Akshay Raut, if I can come back to you, we have also seen a lot of increase in election spending. And this is what ADR's data also shows, especially in the run-up to the 5-state assembly elections last year. What does this data, the first look at it and the trends, mean to you? And what is the big picture that you see in terms of election spending going up over the years?
Well, I think election spending is a reality. Like if the prices are rising and the elections are becoming more combative, and to lose an election is not a political party or a candidate's objective. It's their objective to win the election. And many times, not only in matters of money, in matters of conduct also, they tend to violate. And they tend to do excesses. That's the reality on the ground. But we have regulators. We have enforcers. We have people who should call the right shots. And I think one of the exercises which we are just talking about, and your subject of the day, is the Supreme Court's direction that we should have transparency, disclosure on which company is donating how much and who are the parties taken how much. But as General Verma was very rightly saying, the thread is not complete till we have full disclosures and matchings done. So that will be another story to tell when the matchings are done. But all of us, including the Election Commission of India, for example, believe that an efficient election is nothing but transparency and disclosures and disclosures. So the voter has the right to know, and that's my approach to the whole matter that is on the table today. And so far as the solutions are concerned, I think it is enforcement, which is a tight ceiling, and an enforcement which is worthwhile. Some expenditure control measures are going on. You just mentioned that how the expenditure is increasing. But I think we are far behind in the game in terms of expenditure control and expenditure monitoring and expenditure capturing. So whether the money that comes from a company, whether it is going to the campaign or to the political party's own development, that's another thing. It's a matter of audit and accounts. Do we have proper scrutiny systems existing? Do we have proper expenditure control measures to capture it? I think those are the key areas to look at. But another thing, if you give me...
Mr. Raut, one quick question that I'd like to get in from General Verma. General Verma, did you notice that has every political party taken out money only ahead of elections, or has this also been taken out during periods when there was no election?
We haven't done that sort of an analysis as yet because the data has been released yesterday evening only. So we are still in the process of doing the analysis. But one thing is very clear, that the amount of donations via electoral bonds were the maximum just before the elections. Because the windows used to be opened before the elections. And in this case also, the highest amount has been donated in April 2019, just before the last general elections.
Interesting.
12,000.
Let's move ahead now. Mr. Ghosh, let me come to you. Right, Mr. Ghosh, let me come to you and let me play the devil's advocate here. One of the arguments that were raised in the course of the hearing was that these donations were made under the cover, under the veil of anonymity. Is that a grudge? Is that a legitimate grudge that some of these companies may have? That, look, we donated the money never knowing that this information will become public.
Absolutely. That can be a legitimate ground a company may have. But let's also be very clear as to the startling information that has come out since the disclosure. You have people who've done the mapping of certain companies who were facing the scanner of the EDI, income tax, CBI, etc. And then within days of the raid, etc., you had these purchases of bonds happening. And you can only guess as to where these bonds have gone, including in cases where, as you see, that MEG infrastructure or whatever, where this contract comes to them, a massive infrastructure contract comes to them, and they gave around 966 crores as electoral bonds, or they purchased. Of course, we don't know where they went, where those bonds went, but you know, it is your guess is as good as mine. But the point that is being made is, if at all there is a credible case made out that agencies of the government were being used as instruments of collecting funds for a political party, then this actually changes the whole character of the disclosure, and it calls for an effective, non-partisan and independent investigation into this. So therefore, I would think that time has come now, because we have now crossed over to another stage. Now it's no longer the stage of disclosure. I think now the Supreme Court should consider actually setting up a monitoring committee or a kind of a monitored investigation under its aegis into whether this has happened, whether the electoral bonds has been used as a means whereby the agencies of the government have been used to get certain corporate entities to make donations through the means of an electoral fund. So this is a very, very serious issue. And this really is, I would say, the greatest threat to the independence of the Indian electoral process that we face. This is really, really a scam of gargantuan proportions, and which really requires redress. And as I
all right, Sanjay Ghosh, we are going to come back in just a bit. This is an interesting discussion. We'll be right back with you. We have to take a break here on CNBC TV 18. We'll be back with a lot more analysis when we return.